are. So today we are going to be making a quilt jacket. Fun! So I'll just pop up all my inspiration images. Just whoop, whoop, whoop. So this is a quilt I thrifted for today's project. I measured and it's about 98.5 inches by 87.5 inches. I like the colors. The major challenge of this upcycle is going to be the pattern itself. At least that's what I think. So you could either draft the pattern yourself. In terms of drafting your own pattern, you could 1. Draft it from scratch, or 2. Clone an existing garment that you already have that you like the fit of. Or you could use an already made one. There are a decent amount of free jacket patterns and hoodie patterns on Mood Fabrics free pattern site. Most of their clothing patterns range between a size 2 to size 30, and they also provide instructions on the site for how to put the garments together. You could also buy an ready-made pattern. If the free ones aren't what you want, you could buy one that is what you want. I am going to be following a Kim Dave tutorial that she created a while back. So these are the pattern pieces I ended up with. This is the front piece, this is the back piece, and this is the sleeve. I'm going to place the back piece on a fold, and then the front and the sleeve I'll be cutting 2 of each. So following the Kim Dave tutorial, I did add a lapel to the jacket pattern, but because of my desire to not mess with the border of the quilt, I did end up having to cut the lapel differently. Instead of following the original shape of the pattern, I extended the front so that I didn't have to mess with the original border seam. Hopefully that makes more sense later on. So before using the pattern to cut the quilt, I decided to make a mock-up just to make sure that I liked the shape that the pattern created. And I did. I liked it a lot. I liked it so much that I even lined the mock-up. So now it's a full-on jacket. It's reversible. I'm very happy about that. And I also made the matching belt. It's double-sided as well. So I've pinned them in place and I've marked 1/2 inch seam allowance around everything. The back piece is on fold. I'm cutting 2 of these and then 2 of the sleeves. Also this front piece, because I don't want to interfere with the already finished seams, I don't want to have to refinish the edges again. So instead of following the original shape of the pattern, I just extended it outwards to 1, give the jacket more overlap in the front, and also 2, to not have to cut that border so I don't have to refinish it. I'm going to cut 1 layer at a time. Sewing time. So you got our pieces here. Before I sew the pieces together, I want to finish off the ends, and I'm going to do so by binding them with bias tape. You could opt to serge the ends. You could do whatever you want to finish the ends. Flat felled seam, French seam. I am going to bind my edges. I'm going to take the bias tape, put it on. I'm going to sew that on, then fold it over, and then we'll rinse and repeat on all the edges. Changed out the threads, so we're ready to go. It's been a while and I'm still binding the edges. I'm gonna keep going. I want to finish binding the edges at least. What time is it? Summertime. It's 11:31 p.m. So not the next day yet.
Later.
So my needle broke. The tip of it hit a pin and broke just as I was finishing the last part. I'm gonna put a new one in and finish binding, and then I'm gonna go to bed. I really want to stay up and sew it together, but I need to sleep. Finally finished binding. I'm going to bed now. So it's later. I'm gonna get to sewing these together. This is the front. Where is the back? Is this the back? This is the back. So the first thing we're gonna do is to attach the shoulders. I'm going to line those shoulders up, and I'm gonna sew both of them in place. This binding that we did will form the seam allowance. So the next thing I'm going to do is to sew the top of the sleeve into the armhole. This top part. So I'm gonna need to first of all find my front and back. I also need to mark the middle. So right sides together. Pin the middle to the side seam. This is how it looks so far. The side seams are still completely open. I kind of want to add a collar, but I'm not sure. Should I add a collar? I think I might add a collar. Feels a bit naked up here. So now we have to figure out a collar because I didn't cut one of the original pattern. Great. Now I'm gonna sew the side seam closed. I'm gonna start from the bottom. So I've sewn the sides together. So 3 things I want to figure out. I think I'm gonna make it come down a little bit lower. So round 2, take 2 on the collar mock-up, folding the jacket in half. There's the place we made the mark with the pin. Alright, I'm gonna cut that out and pin it onto the jacket. So here's take 2. I like that a lot better. Brought this belt for reference. I think I'm gonna cut out a strip of fabric that's about the same length as this belt. For the width, I'm going to measure the width of this. So this whole piece is long enough for what I need. It's long enough for the belt. So we're gonna use just one side. I'm gonna mark 3 inches along its entirety. So to finish off the ends of this, I want to open up that middle a little bit and then fold it in. So folding it in seems to be working. So I'm gonna finish off the ends the same way. I'm gonna open it up and tuck in the ends. So I've got both of them turned in and pinned, and now I'm just gonna sew a straight line around the edge. We're gonna finish the collar first. I've already marked the middle of the collar, the bottom middle. Then we have the middle. Okay, so right side of the collar facing the wrong side. I'm going to pin the middle first and then pin around the rest of it. 1 second. Yeah, I believe that's correct. Okay, so the belt. So I sewed round all the edges just for symmetry. So when you put in the belt, you need a hole for whatever this is called to pass through. And then once it's passed through, I'll sew it down. I'm gonna make the hole about there. Pencil. And using our handy dandy seam ripper, I'm gonna cut that space open. So now I got that all open. I'm gonna finish it the same way I finish my eyelets. So you put in, then we come up again next to it, wrap round and pull. If it would just, and pull. Then we continue doing that all the way around. Come up next. We come up next to the last stitch, wrap round and pull. We've got that all sewn. Now I'm going to, which way is the right way? Okay. I'm going to put it in through there. Fold that over. Ooh. Then I'm gonna sew this down. So I've sewn the belt buckle on. For the closure, I decided to use a press button. I have this one that I took off of a thrifted garment. I put the jacket on and marked the positions where I wanted them, and then I sewed them on. I overlapped my jacket right side on top of the left side, if that matters to you.
Bye, have a great time.